Hey, what's up? I'm Chef Aaron Fish, and this is Fish Food, where we make tasty, approachable snacks. And today we're making Korean barbecue pork cutlet sandwich. All right, so we're gonna start off by making our marinade. And so what I'm doing is I'm using the Korean BBQ Blend. I'm gonna give it a little shake. And I'm gonna take some elements that make up kalbi marinade, which is also a Korean style marinade typically found on beef for ribs and whatnot. So you can see I've got some onions, some soy sauce, cilantro, garlic, brown sugar, sesame oil, and a pear. So we're gonna go ahead and add the spice blend in here. And I'm gonna add my liquids next. Okay, a little bit of sugar, the garlic, the onion, cilantro, and we cut up this pear. Now the pear actually helps to kind of break down the meat a little bit too, which is unique. And so that's pretty awesome. And let's see here. So we're just gonna give it some thin slices. Don't worry about it if they're not perfect or if you can't cut as fast as us chefs. Just we're just looking to basically have it so that it can extract as much as possible, while it's marinating. Now, we only really needed half a pear, but pears can be sometimes delicious and sometimes all the time, so I'm just gonna use that. All right, so we've got our pork loin. I'm just gonna slice it into some rounds. Now, they can be about yay thick, so I'd say about half an inch. And then the next step we're gonna do here is we're gonna be pounding these out. So it doesn't really matter too much. You just don't want them super thick because, as we pound them out, if they're too thick, they're probably gonna split and you won't really get, the size pieces we're looking for. All right, so our pork's all cut and we're gonna go ahead and pound out. So what I did here is I got a clean cutting board. I use a cutting board. If you have like a marble countertop or something that's a solid top, you don't have to worry about a cutting board under it. I just got this tile and I don't want to break the tile and I want to make sure that I have a nice flat, even surface. So we're just gonna lay the pork out. Now you want to make sure you leave enough space so that it's gonna expand when we pound it out. These all out. And only do, you can work in batches. You don't have to do them all at once. So actually we will do that just to make it a little easier. All right, pull this over the top. And so you're doing 2 layers of plastic. This is gonna stop everything from splattering everywhere and help it spread out a little more evenly. So if you don't have a meat tenderizer, a little hammer, you can use a small saute pan. This works really well. And you're just gonna smack it like this. And you can see it's getting a lot bigger. Now I'm just letting the weight of the pan do the work, really. All right, so just gonna put these pieces into the marinade. Now you can also blend this marinade up if you want and puree it all the way. I actually kind of like the idea of it not, because as we grill them, pull them out on the grill, maybe we'll get some of those onions or cilantro on it, and that'll help char up and add a little extra flavor. But keep going. All right, so we've got our pork all marinated. We give it a nice stir, and I'm gonna put this in the fridge. You wanna let this sit for at least an hour. Ideally, if you can go overnight, it's gonna be even better. All right, so now we're gonna make some sweet and sour pickled rhubarb that I got from Richter Farms over in Puyallup, Washington. So they were very nice enough to give me some fresh rhubarb. It just got harvested. It just came into season, so it's gonna be super awesome. I've got some sugar in the bowl. We're gonna squeeze a bunch of lime juice in this bad boy. So the sweet obviously is the sugar, the sour is the lime, and then the rhubarb is inherently a little bit kind of sweet and sour itself as well, kind of tart, which is going to add a fun element to this. All right, so we got that all done. We've got beetroot powder, which is gonna give this a really beautiful purple scheme and a little bit of an earthy flavor too. You don't need a lot. Beetroot powder actually stains very well, very quickly. And we're just gonna give it a little stir. Get the liquid nice and mixed up, and you see how deep purple that is. It looks great. Okay. And then I'm gonna use a mandolin. Now you can do this with your knife, but ideally what you're looking for is to get really thin cuts. I mean, you want it to be paper thin. You want to be able to pretty much almost see through it. So our rhubarb's all sliced, and then you're just gonna rain them in. Like, just rain them in. You don't actually have to do it that way. I just think it's fun. You just put them in there, we're gonna give them a stir. You can even just, no, I'm just kidding. Or am I? All right, so we're gonna let these sit, preferably for at least an hour. You want that acid and sugar to kind of penetrate. We're making this beautiful sweet and sour purple pickle. Okay, so we're also gonna be making a quick pesto here with some cilantro, pepita, some garlic, and some sriracha Thai lime. Now, first thing you wanna do is, if you have some toasted pumpkin seeds, that'd be great. You can use walnuts or pistachios, really whatever you prefer. If you've seen the show before, you know I really love pumpkin seeds. So they're a great, cheap way to make pestos or add crunch to things. Yeah, and so we're gonna put a ton of cilantro in here. Now, if you don't like cilantro, a real good substitute in here would be parsley. I know some people, cilantro is really gross to them. You could use parsley. Arugula is really good. Those are good options for your leafy greens. We're gonna add in some of our Thai lime. A little bit of olive oil to start, and a pinch of salt. And then we're gonna throw the lid on, we're gonna kick this on, and see where it takes us. All right, so also real quick, we're gonna make a chili mayo. So I've got some mayonnaise here, and then I got some canned chipotles and adobo, and I just strained a little adobo juice out. And we're gonna add it to here, and just a smidge of vinegar. Once again, we're just looking for a little bit of acid. Give it a nice stir. And this is gonna add a nice smoky, creamy element to our sandwich. It's gonna be really good. Now, we'll make it a little thinner than normal mayonnaise, but that's okay. All right, so final component for our dish, we're gonna char some bok choy. So all I'm gonna do is, I just got some baby bok choys. I'm gonna clean a little bit of the root off, and you wanna leave some of it on there. We'll cut it before it goes on the sandwich. And then we're just gonna cut it in half. Now, that's gonna keep it from falling apart. Now, I'm also gonna take the leaves off because we're gonna char this part. And then we'll chop the leaves up and throw it on the sandwich too for a bit of a fresh element. All right, so I got my grill heated up. We're gonna start finishing the sandwich because I'm hungry. So, nice and hot. I've got this been marinating, and like we talked about, I'm just gonna grab it, and I mean, ideally you wanna make sure they're kind of flat when you go to throw them on. And you get a little bit of that onion on there, that's okay. Look at that, that's gonna be really tasty, a little onion and pear. And you can work in batches with this. I'm just gonna cook off what we need for the sandwich. And save this, maybe I'll make some breakfast tomorrow, I don't know. Okay, so we got that on there. I've got some bok choy. I'm just gonna position this on here. I drizzled a little olive oil and some salt on it. And then I've got my bread for the toast. I put a little bit of butter on there. Now, the trick on this is you want it real thin. And I'm just gonna grill it to toast it. Give this a close, and we'll come right back out. All right, so I've got everything off the grill. Bread is nice and toasty. And I just threw it on this rack so that it doesn't get soggy. And then I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna cut these up. They're just nice, a little bit charred. It's gonna add some contrast. And we're just gonna cut it just like the leaves that we chiffonaded. And we're just gonna fold it into that to kind of create like a couple different textures and flavors. It smells really good. Now you notice I'm not cutting all the way down because there's that root. So I'm not trying to get part of that root on there. Watch it from this side. There we go. So we're gonna build our sandwich. I got my toasted bread. We're gonna put our pesto down on one side. And this sandwich needs a lot of sauce because, I mean, Who doesn't need a lot of sauce, right? Put a lot of this on there. Some of that smoky chili mayo on the other side. Alrighty, we're gonna give this a nice little toss. And you can see I strained out my pickles here, make it a little easier to handle. Oh, trying to drizzle too much on there. Oh yeah. And you put as little as much as you like on here, whatever you think is going to taste best for you. And we're going to start laying our meat down. This is gonna be a good sandwich. Flip this guy over. A little smash. Grab the bread knife. We're gonna give it a cut. Oh yeah, that's gonna be tasty. All right, we got our sandwich built. And it's time to dig in, man. I've been starving while I've been cooking this whole thing, so I'm pretty excited. Before we take our bite though, I give you a little shout out to my boy Matt and get a little flaky salt action on this. It's not gold, but it's still delicious. All right, let's do it. Oh man, that pork is tender, it's spicy. There's the sweetness from the pickles, creaminess, and from the chipotle mayo. We've got pesto, chili lime comes through and adds like a nice little bright element to it. And that, my friends, is delicious fish food.